It's your boy Sid, and I want to welcome you guys to Speak Your Mind all the time. Guys, I got a special guest with me today. This is one of I say one of the original bloggers that's been out there for the Dallas Cowboys. Without further ado, let me just drop him in the building right now. We got MCF in the building, my Cowboys family, man. I'm a big fan of this guy. I don't know if you guys definitely, I'm sure you guys have been on his channel. This guy's on every night talking about Cowboys news. If you guys want to get the updates and really know what's going on out there, you got to definitely go check this guy out. MCF, man, thanks for coming in. Please let the fans know about you, where to find you, all that good stuff, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Sid. Dallas Cowboys for life. Yes, we've been doing this for almost 4 years on YouTube. I think July 1st is our anniversary. We are on. We do every night. My wife, and I, we go live every single night talking Cowboys, and we might miss a day here or two in a year, but for the most part, we go live. If we went live the whole COVID year last year, so we want to make sure we talk about everything, updated on the Cowboys, explain it through, and discuss it with the fans that are in the chat, talking it out, and just get the fan base, leveled up a little bit. You know what I mean? Intelligently speaking, that we need to make sure we don't go on crazy whims and dreams. Let's get to reality. So that's what we kind of try to deal with on a nightly. We have Twitter at My Cowboys Family. We have Facebook and other stuff, but we mainly obviously go through YouTube. That's our channel, guys. My Cowboys Family. Through there, you'll see people mention us as MCF or my wife as MCW. But we're My Cowboys Family on YouTube.
Yeah, man, definitely, guys. His channel is all in the description below. Definitely go check him out, sub up to his channel, and I want to thank you guys also who's tuning in. I know we're doing this. Usually we do a night show, but we went afternoon, a little afternoon. So guys, enjoy and definitely jump in the chat, ask your questions, and we'll definitely be able to go through it, man. So MCF.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you. Like I said earlier off camera, and I'm going to say it on camera. You were one of the guys that when I started with my 20, 30 followers, you came on my show, man. And you were one of the guys that showed me that this is what I want to do. And you helped me out and you got me in the right direction. And I want to thank you for that, man. I've always been very supportive of your channel. When I can, I jump on and, I chop it up with you guys. And like I said, I love, your wife is very crazy knowledgeable as well. And that's rare to find. So you're one of the lucky guys that was able to get that.
Extremely lucky. Extremely lucky. Yes.
Yeah.
But she's grown so much from the beginning of this thing. And again, I love seeing, the Cowboy YouTube nation is huge, right? So it's good to see more people out there giving new ideas, giving new flavors. And then, and then we can mix it up. I've been out of the little collab thing for about a year, but we've just been focusing on the channel and on family stuff and life stuff. But yeah, we love doing collabs whenever we can, and this is awesome to do with you, bro. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the topics we're going to discuss today.
Yeah, well, we're gonna jump right into it. I didn't get to talk to you since the draft. Were you happy with what the direction that the Dallas Cowboys went with in the draft? Who did you want? Who would you have liked to see? Did we get who you thought we were going to get, or did you was there another player that you said, "Oh my God, I hope the Dallas Cowboys get"?
My camera. There we go. An MCF. We good?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was going to say that unfortunately, the first round didn't go as planned, right? So J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, they were off the board. I like that the Cowboys did to move back and still get their guy. I don't have a problem with that at all, even with the Eagles, because Eagles or Giants were going to get Devontae Smith anyway. So it doesn't really, we just kind of controlled who got him. And we got an extra third-round pick. Now, the third-round pick I thought was going to be a real bonus, and I don't know if that's going to turn out that way. Second round, I like the Kelvin Joseph move. I know we were trying to trade up to get Tyson Campbell, and we just stay with Kelvin Joseph. I'm good with that. And it was him or Asante Samuel in my viewpoint. And I don't think the Cowboys were going to go Trayvon Marine because the Raiders jumped us. But I don't think the Cowboys were going to go for him. They were going corner. But that third round is the killer for me. Now, initially, I didn't like the Osa pick because I was like, are we replacing Tristan Hill? And then if you go back to last night's show on My Cowboys Family, we literally went over the reasons why I think Tristan Hill's out of here. Not necessarily this year, but in the future because of the Osa pickup, and that's a Dan Quinn guy. We can go into that later. I actually like that pick if we're replacing Tristan Hill with him. Then I like the pick. But if Tristan Hill balls out, then what are we going to do with him, right? The other 2 picks in the 3rd round bothered me. Chauncey Golston and Nashawn Wright. I mean, listen, we could have got those guys in the 5th round, in the 6th round. You know what I mean? So to me, those were overdrafts on both those guys. I love the 4th round picks. Jabril Cox, he's been my guy. He's a guy I wanted on this team. I was thinking 2nd, 3rd round maybe. Well, we got him in the 4th. That's a steal. The steal of the draft, in my opinion. And then Josh Ball, he's got his issues. I'm not really a fan of that pickup, but on the field, he can be a future starter. We'll see. I don't know if he's not into doing domestic stuff and all that stuff doesn't pan out to be true. Well, I think it is, and I didn't like his answers to things. 5th rounder, Simi Fujoko. I mean, Fujoko, he is a steal as well, I think, as a receiver. But there's so many receivers in this draft. You look at Michael Gallup a couple years ago. In the 3rd round, he got drafted, and we drafted Simi Fujoko in the 5th round. But this was very deep in the draft as far as for receivers this year. That year, it wasn't as deep. So if you put them both in the same draft class, whether it's in that year or this year, they're probably separated by a round. Let's be real. So, I mean, so Fujoko probably is 4th rounder in that draft, and Gallup's probably a 4th rounder in this draft. So in a way, I think that we got a very good quality receiver for not just this year as the 4th or 5th guy, but for next year and beyond, in case we had to go away from Gallup or Trey Cooper or something like that. And then the end.
Whoa.
Hey, I'm just telling you.
Whoa.
Hey,
Gallup, I'm okay with. Coop, I'm not okay with.
If the Cowboys keep Gallup and they say they can't afford any other guys, then watch Cooper. I'm just saying that's a possible moving piece. I think Dak Prescott's going to be demanding Cooper stay. And if that happens, then Cooper's staying. But I'm just saying if the Cowboys want to get cheap and want to get Michael Gallup and they don't have enough money all of a sudden to pay all these receivers, that's going to be a move. You have to watch that. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, I would love the Cowboys to keep all 3 guys. Let me put it that way. But we'll have to wait and see on that. And in the end, again, the last couple of picks, I mean, I like that cornerback. We're going to be basically making him a free safety, but he's not a guy you could look at for this year. And then that guard, the last round, Farnick, he's probably a practice squad guy. But I mean, we graded my wife and I, we graded the draft, soon after it ended. And other than the 3rd round, you take the 3rd round out, we gave that round, I think, a C round or a D round, just because of mainly because of Golston and Wright. And you take that round out, you gave it the whole draft's like a C, but if you take that round out, it's like a B with the possibility to get to that A. So I think it's just going to we have to see how the draft plays out, how the players play over the next couple of years. But I think that we're definitely starting at average. And if Osa works, he's going to be taking over Tristan Hill and these other guys get utilized in the 3rd round. It's definitely going to be a much better draft than I think most people initially think.
Well, listen, the 3rd round, I think everybody was shocked. Everybody was like, what happened? Like, what happened in the 3rd round? I was like, who's in the office right now? Is Steven here? Is Jerry Jones there? Because I don't understand these picks. And a lot of people didn't, right? And you brought up a very valid point about steals. And, I went and looked up and I was like, everybody's saying that Jabril Cox was a major steal. He was like the top steal for any team across the board. And they're saying the Dallas Cowboys got him. I went and watched tape on him. I'm happy with what I'm seeing from him. Is he ready to be a starter?
No, I don't think so as of now. I think next year he's taking over for Keanu Neal. Next year. And I think that his thing is not necessarily, he's not going to be the linebacker that you think of like normally. I know he was drafted by the Raiders. He's a safety moving to linebacker. It's a similar thing to Keanu Neal. You got a guy who can cover. He's kind of your nickel corner. Keanu Neal in a way. I don't say nickel corner, but he's your nickel package guy. He goes in and plays a slot. I see Keanu Neal doing that. I see Jabril Cox. Hopefully, if he can do that, there is no need for a true nickel cornerback that we have to worry about. And you're going to want to put in some packages with a nickel corner in the slot without a question, but you don't have to. You can do that a lot less. You can use Jabril Cox to be that guy there. So, and the reason he's a steal, he's a coverage linebacker. He's not going to be a run stopper. He's a run support guy, but he's not a run stop guy. So I think that the other reason why he dropped, this is just this is the facts of it, is because of his pro day. His pro day, he had to skip the first one, his LSU first pro day. He couldn't make that because he had a hamstring strain or something like that. So he did it on the second pro day, which was literally 3 days before the draft. A lot of teams already had their minds made up. Like we can't really, we're not going to throw them into our draft, order here. We got our guys kind of playing. The Cowboys went for him, and I think that's why he dropped so far, because some people were, a lot of people were kind of like moving on from him because he didn't really have a pro day until 3 days before the draft. So I think that helped him drop, and it helped him fall right into our laps. Cowboys were looking to get him at the end of the 3rd round. We got Nashawn Wright instead. Why can't you just flip that over and just not risk losing Jabril Cox if they really wanted him? So, I think those other picks in the 3rd round, all 3 of them really, those are Dan Quinn picks. Those are like Dan Quinn special, I think. So,
yeah. I don't know if you caught the show yesterday. We were talking about from our lads has the depth chart. They released the depth chart, the updated depth chart. And you were just talking about that. So right now we got in the weak linebacker side, we got Jalen Smith, and then we got Neal, and then we got Jabril Cox.
Right. And I think Smith's going to be the one that's going to be the odd man out, honestly. I think Smith's going to have to. He's going to have to find his way in there, whether he gets flung over to the strong side, occasionally does middle linebacker, because, you can never count LVE being healthy the whole year. So, I think Jalen Smith's going to be like the piece that moves around a lot. Like as far as like the replacement guy, the guy that comes in a certain down in situations, you might see him in there. But I also think you'll see a lot of split time, I think, with Neal and Jalen Smith. But but I think Jalen Smith will be used in certain situations. I think Keanu Neal is going to be used in most situations, because he's the guy that knows the Quinn system, and Quinn knows he can trust him. Now, I do think that Jalen Smith will be better this year, because it's not going to be so – and LV, if he stays healthy, I don't think the defensive scheme will be that – listen, that scheme last year –
I know, but you know what? I didn't like what I saw from Smith last year. I felt like he was terrible, and LVE is too injury prone. I already said it, and we said this on my past shows. I said, these guys sneeze wrong. They're out. Because these young guys that are coming up are going to be more hungry. They're going to be more healthy, more versatile, and I think we're going to get. I don't know. I'm just not happy with what I saw from Smith last year. And like I said, LVE, we're not taking the 5th-year option with him. I don't think he'll be a Dallas Cowboys going into next year. And if he gets injured again this year,
he's done. I mean, listen, for next year, LVE. We save $9+ million on him if we don't re-sign him. And I know we're not getting we're not taking the option out, but the Cowboys still seem to say they want to maybe re-sign him now after these pickups that we made in the draft. To me, this is number one about competition. Number two about, hey, wake up, because this is it for you guys. And number three, I think that the Cowboys would not mind keeping one of those 2 guys. I really don't. I think the Cowboys they don't want to look like failures again. The front office. So LVE, if he can get through a year, he might be the guy that stays, and then we pay him a little money there. Again, if you see, Jalen Smith. Here's the thing about Jalen Smith, and I don't want to just forget about Jalen Smith or LVE, because we got these new guys. All right, but I do think that I love the pressure. I love the competition. That can't be undeniable. And you said these guys are hungry, but now it's going to make LVE even. It's going to spark a fire under his ass. Same thing for Jalen Smith. It's got to, or they're gone.
It has, yeah.
Right. So this is the best bet to see the best out of these guys. On top of that, Dan Quinn's defense. Again, 4-3, 3-4, whatever people want to call it, 4-3 under. Listen, it's going to be nickel with 5 guys around the line of scrimmage. We're going to have 7 or 8 guys in the box. It's just the way it's going to be for Dan Quinn. I don't care if the guy's hands in the ground or not. It's a 3-4, 4-3. I don't give a damn about that. So to me, it's Jalen Smith's going to have a lot more, an easier time reading or understanding the scheme. And that's the biggest issue last year. I know. I do understand why Mike Nolan last year, was fired, and why he did so poorly, and what some of his decisions were poor. If he had a full season, we could have been better, I'm sure. But it was just too much. When you get thrown into the defense and Mike Nolan's defense, you have to know if this side, if the receiver shifts to the other side or goes in motion, everyone's all 11 guys are changing their duties or so. Dan Quinn, he's going to take you, throw you in there, do your job. That's it. And you just got to go forward or go this way or look at that guy. It's just simplified. So there's no Jalen Smith. He was great a couple of years ago, right? On the field, he was highlighting the sideline, flying across the field. I don't know if we're going to see that, but I guarantee you it'll be an improvement from last year. Same thing with LVE. LVE is looking for Lamar Jackson, and he's looking at the guy in motion, because that's what Mike Nolan's defense calls for. And the guy and Lamar Jackson runs right past him for a 50-yard touchdown run, right? So
that's the problem.
That's not happening this year, though. That's the scheme. That's not necessarily the player. The player wasn't aware because the scheme sucks ass and he weren't able to learn it. I believe that with the new competition, with the new scheme, I just keep an eye on both those guys, LV, Jalen Smith. Now, I love Micah Parsons. I love that he's going to be a run disruptor. He's going to be a guy, an impact player. He's going to be a pass rusher as well. So he's going to add a lot of forward aggressive play, which is going to be good for the Cowboys. While LVE and Jalen Smith just got to do their damn jobs, you know. And again, we'll see who gets rotated in and out because you got Jabril Cox for next year, I think more so. But he's going to be solid replacement for like the weak side for Neal, for maybe Jalen Smith. And, you know, I we'll see which guy stays, if any, of those two linebackers. It's going to be a great battle. That's my favorite battle to watch in training camp is the linebacker spot, just to see which guy, because other battles are important, even more important. But that battle is going to be the most interesting because it's going to have 5 names there that you can see playing for 2 spots.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Listen, I want to ask you, do you see, and you know, we touched on this yesterday, and Jay Tuck, I see you're in the chat. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
So,
but I believe that those guys ended up saying they don't see Michael Parsons being a starter this year. Initially,
I don't see that happening initially, but I do see him being a starter as the season goes on. Or it's hard to say starter because I think it's going to be the Cowboys. I think Dan Quinn has kind of almost like 11 players plus 6. Like he's got another 5 or 6 guys. He's going to be rotating in there almost as much as the starters. So who's a starter? I mean, whoever steps in the field first is a starter. But if they play 10 snaps and then Micah Parsons plays 50, then Micah Parsons is the starter. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of the volume of snaps. I think the Cowboys will find Micah Parsons a healthy amount of snaps this year. There's no way they're going to let the first round guy not get in there. Now, as a starter, penciled in. LVE, Jalen Smith, Keanu Neal. Yeah, those are the starters. But the guys are going to get the snap counts. I think Micah Parsons is going to go up, way up higher than a lot of people think. Micah Parsons is going to be a disruptor. Dan Quinn is purposely going to use him to do the dirty work in helping the run support and making run issues for opposing offenses. And, of course, putting pressure on the quarterback. He's going to be part of our package that goes at the quarterback. So it just depends what if it's 3rd and 18, Micah Parsons is in the game and he's blitzing. And if we're not going to blitz him, then you'll have, Keanu Neal and Jabril Cox maybe in coverage, right? It just depends on who and what's going on in the play. If it's 2nd and goal from the 2, you're going to get your biggest guys in there and things are going to change. So you're going to get the LVs and Jalen Smiths in there. So, I mean, that's kind of the way I think it's going to be. I'm just throwing it out. I'm not saying it's going to be Jalen Smith and LVE goal line. I'm just saying that you're going to see different scenarios with different combinations on that field, in my opinion, at linebacker. So starter, starter, it might be LV and Jalen Smith, but Micah Parsons is going to get as many snaps as those guys, in my opinion.
I think he's definitely more versatile. I don't know. I just think he's more explosive, and he's definitely quick to the ball. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring. I just hope that the Dallas Cowboys could keep him grounded. I think that's my only worry that I have with him.
Yeah, maturity issues for sure. But that happened when he was like 3 years ago. So I think he's 2 years ago. I think I'm hoping he's on the right track now. But I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. I think that the Cowboys. See, the thing is, I think the Cowboys have to find him snaps for Micah Parsons to get in the game. But it's not. He's gonna get in the game. He might get 20 snaps, 30 snaps, or 40 snaps. But it's about putting, LV and Jalen Smith on alert. Not just now, but just throughout the whole season. Like if they mess up throughout the year, he will be in there, and it will be a smoothless transition for him to go from playing 20 or 30 snaps to if he has to play 40 or 50 snaps. I think Micah Parsons will be fine, and it puts the other guys on notice. That combination of things is what we're working towards to 2022. But for this year, Micah Parsons is just he's going to be a guy that's going to be disruptive, and Quinn's going to use him for that reasoning. I think in that way for this team.
100%. I just want to send a few shout outs. We had Dallas Cowboys fan 1980 in the building.
Hey, 1980 in the house. What's up?
Yeah. We have Jay Tuck corrected me. He said, no, it's not. He said, no, it's not the starting middle linebacker. So definitely, Jay, I sent you the link, man. If you want to jump in here, please feel free. Love to have you on like always, man. And Jonathan, Soul Flow Cowboys is in the house.
Hey, in the
please
house.
Shout out to Soul Flow, man. Love working with these guys. So thank you guys for tuning in.
What's up, man?
So question for you. Do you think that the Dallas Cowboys will hold 6 receivers this year?
I think they have to. I mean, you have they purposely brought in 6 receivers, undrafted guys plus Fujoko. I mean, and they're all 6'4" or taller. that tells me the Cowboys are not messing around. That they have a new plan there at receiver. Now, after the top 3 guys, you got Cedric Wilson, you got Noah Brown.
Yeah,
they're going to be fighting for their jobs next year. Both guys are probably gone, and Cedric Wilson ended his contract, and Noah Brown's on a 1-year deal. So, you're going to look at probably Fujoko coming in there. We don't know about Gallup yet either. So that's you're losing a lot of receivers here, but Fujoko's going to be that 3rd or 4th guy next year. And for this year, I think some of these guys are going to sneak on the practice squad, so it's kind of hard to tell. But if you talk about the 53-man squad, I mean, definitely going to be 5. The Cowboys had Malik Turner as their 6th receiver. He's a special teams guy. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how the Cowboys pick from those last 2 spots, I think. 6 receivers, I don't think it's a need, but the Cowboys want to have that special teams guy. If we have one of those 6'4" guys, 6'6" guys, Vasher, one of these guys in there making the team, I think that'll be their role for this year, is a special teams kind of look. Not returns, they're too tall and lanky for returns. I'm just thinking like just to go in there and special team like Malik Turner was, like Noah Brown was. So if they can do the blocking, if they can do the special team stuff, they will earn themselves the 53. And if not, I think half of these guys kind of get onto the practice squad, and then we'll see where they're at next year. But for this year, I mean, at the very least, it's going to be you're going to cut Malik Turner, and you're going to add in there Fujoko. At the very least, that's 6 guys still in there. So because you still got the top 3, you got Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, Fujoko. I mean, I don't think we go away from those guys yet this year.
So you're thinking we're going to go CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, Cooper, Fujoko, Cedric, and Noah Brown.
I mean, that's where it starts at right now. I don't know about these undrafted guys. I'm not going to just say that they can do it because they're undrafted for a reason. So they'll have to really work their way because Noah Brown has a role on this team. Cedric Wilson has a role on this team. I mean, he returns, punts as well. He can do that stuff. He goes, you saw he played a little spot time there at receiver, Cedric Wilson. Not bad at all. And then you got the 6'4" guys that are undrafted that, they're going to fight it out for the practice squad. I think that, if they do really well, one of them can maybe push one of these guys off. But, I always like to stay with the penciled in guys, and then let's see how these guys do. If they were undrafted, why weren't they drafted, right? Can they make the team? Can they push Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson off? I don't know if they will be, but they can definitely get on the practice squad for next year.
Yeah, man. SoFlo says Cedric Wilson is a solid player.
I agree. He's got value on the returns, and he's got value as our 4th receiver. So he's the guy. I think he's going to be people want to put Fujoko in there. I mean, it'd be nice to see him in there, but I think he'll be like the 6th guy. Fujoko probably replaces Malik Turner.
I went to watch. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was saying Malik Turner plays only special teams, right? He played coverage on special teams and ran down the field and made the tackles or whatever it may be. But I think that's what you'll see when Fujoko is a big guy. He can fly down the field and still he'll have value on special teams. So I think he's going to replace Malik Turner. And then see if he can go up higher on the depth chart and replace. You can replace Noah Brown's offensive skill set. If you can replace Cedric Wilson's skill set on the offense, then you have Fujoko can move up the depth chart. But I think he's a 6th guy as we start this thing off now. And I think he pushes Malik Turner off. Most people don't even know who he's on the team, Malik Turner's. But, yeah.
Well, it's funny because yesterday, as you noticed, those guys are big fans of Fujoko. And I went and watched tape, and I gotta say it, Jay, man, Jay Tuck, I apologize. I know you said there's only one Dez, but he reminds me of Dez.
He's big.
He's big. He's how
faster.
He gets up there for the ball.
He's faster
quick.
than Dez.
He's a good route. He's fast. Yeah, he's a good route runner right now because Dez is his guy, right? So he's faster than Dez. So I think he will have a spot next year with the Dallas Cowboys. I think he does make the roster, and I just think you brought up one of the biggest issues is who's going to be paid, and he'll be that filler.
I think if he does well enough to whatever he shows behind the wifey's in the house. Much love. If he shows out, to a point where he can really challenge Cedric Wilson and show that he can play. And listen, I think that he can move up the depth chart, but I think for next year, if he plays well enough, whatever they see from him, whether it's behind the scenes or on the field, on game days, if they get him on the field on offense, I think that he'll be a guy that the Cowboys can decide, do we have to go another receiver to replace Gallup, or can we use Fujoko to go in there and be the 3rd guy? He could play slot sometimes as well. So being so tall, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that if he works out for the Cowboys, he will be a steal as well, and he will be a guy that I think will be, third or fourth receiver next year. Definitely has a chance to do that next year. I like him a lot.
Who, in your opinion, is going to be our number one receiver this year?
That's a good one. I mean, listen, Cooper and Dak, they got a connection. I mean, I just put a video of them working out. I mean, they are, they are connected. They are. When Amari came here, it changed everything for Dak, made things easier for him, and I think it woke him up from the Lenahan play calling, because Amari came in here, was pissed off with Lenahan immediately because they kept doing the same old vanilla shit. So part of my language. So when I see Amari change, I don't think he changed Dak as much as he changed like the way the offense is calling their plays and how Dak sees the offense. He can audible out of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't audible out of stuff until Cooper came here, really, as often as he did, and he kind of learned to be his own person, right? And kind of you can overrule the Lenahan or your offensive coordinator sometimes when you see things differently on the field. So that's why I think Cooper, people are gonna put their best cover guy on the best cornerback on Cooper.
Always.
CeeDee Lamb to me is moving up. I mean, to me, CeeDee Lamb's going to be the guy that people are going to watch him, but I think he's going to take another big step this year. And I love Gallup. I mean, I love Gallup. He's going to be consistent. He's going to be able to stretch the field some. He's a possession receiver as well. But I think CeeDee Lamb's going to be the surprise guy this year. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to be not surprised, but he's going to be the guy that kind of has the stats. Cooper's going to do the dirty work and have to take the number one corner out. But CeeDee Lamb's going to get the number 2 now. And I know he had number 3 last year, and it was his rookie year. But this year, I think he's getting better. He's building up towards the season. I mean, this guy's a hard worker. Listen, I would be surprised if CeeDee Lamb was not our top guy this year, statistically speaking, even though I still say Cooper is our number 1. He's our number 1 guy. And they're going to put number 1 corners against him every game.
Yeah, I'm a big Cooper fan, man. And I respect CeeDee Lamb, and I see what he's been doing off season. He put on muscle mass. He seems to be training hard. He took some heavy hits last year, and I think that's why he decided I need to go to the gym and put on a bit of weight, because I saw a few hits last year that I thought he wasn't going to get up from, and he did. So I think that definitely took a toll. I'm a big Cooper fan. I've always been. I think he was an amazing pickup from the Raiders, and I was happy when he came over. He did big things for us, and I think he's going to continue. I don't think Cooper gets the credit that he should, because last year he didn't have a great year. The year before that, there was issues with the coaching, supposedly calling himself off field. So a lot of people don't give him the credit that he deserves. I think he's an amazing route runner. He's quick. He's like you said, him and Dak have been trading off season this year, and I think that we're going to see a lot of difference. I think we're going to see a whole totally different team this year going into the season. And I just think that Dak will definitely be looking for Cooper and then making adjustment afterwards if Cooper shouldn't be open.
Yeah, the route running is the key with Cooper. I mean, he can get out of anybody's coverage with his route running. The issue is that there's 2 things about this. I think that if he ends up, if Cooper is going to take away the best coverage guy, but teams now know CeeDee Lamb, and they know Michael Gallup, and they know a little bit Blake Jarwin and the running back out the backfield, and Dak can run. You can only do so much with Cooper. So yeah, they can't double him. They might put their best guy on him, but he's going to get open sometimes. And that's where Dak, like you said, he sees him, he's going to hit him. He connects with him. If he sees him, if you don't see him, he's going to go to somebody else. So I think that 2 things happen here because we have so many weapons. Defenses cannot just focus on stopping Cooper, right? And Zeke. They can't do that. So they might put their best guy on Cooper, and it might slow him down, but they're not going to be able to, because now they got to watch CD and Blake Jarwin and Gallup, and the next thing you know, Cooper's catching the ball in a one-on-one coverage, and he's out, even a good corner, he can outdo him sometimes on the routes and his speed and all that stuff. So I think that Cooper can get maybe even more targets than we may expect initially, because teams have to cover so many guys on the Cowboys. But if you have your best guy on Cooper, it might slow him down a little bit, is all I'm trying to say. Statistically, I think CD might have the best numbers, but I think that Cooper is the number 1 guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still the number 1 option for Dak Prescott in this offense in the passing game. It's just that get some of the rewards of everybody kind of putting their best guy on Cooper.
So last year, before Dak got injured, there was a lot of media saying that no, it wasn't the media. I'm wrong. I think if I'm wrong, let me know. I think CeeDee Lamb came out and said we're going to have 3 wide receivers with over 1,000 yards this year. I believe I think it was CeeDee Lamb, if I remember clearly.
Yeah, either they asked him, or then he spoke on it in that way. But yeah, I do remember. I think it was him that said it. Said that expect to see three 1,000-yard receivers on this team. It was close. It was very close.
It was close. So
we had four different quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my question. With that coming back, do you think that goal is achievable this year?
Yeah, I do. Now, I do believe it's achievable. I mean, we almost got it last year with 4 different quarterbacks. So yeah, to me, it's like yes, definitely achievable. But all 3 guys got to stay healthy. Offensive line got to stay healthy. Everything else has to still keep rolling for a full 17 game. Now, again, let me add that 17th game.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
So you add that 17th game, it becomes a lot easier. So I do think that Cooper is gonna get 1,000 because he's just one of the top receivers in the league. Yeah. You got CeeDee Lamb, who is going to be one of the top receivers in the league. I think he's gonna get probably maybe the most yards in this group, and Gallup is gonna get close to it. I just think that he's gonna be the guy that when the other guys are covered, he's gonna make the big play. We saw it happen. I mean, he makes big plays. He's the big playmaker out there as far as deep passes or making some crazy catches. So I think that he's the guy that's gonna when you add up those big plays from him once every game or whatever, a couple times in a span of 3 games or 2 games, you're gonna see those numbers, those receiving numbers jump up. And I think that definitely have a chance to get 1,000 yards each of these guys with the 17th game, especially on top of that. And if Dak stays healthy, I mean, sky's the limit.
Listen, that's all of us are praying for that. Just Dak, don't run with the ball stupidly.
I agree. He's got to slide and go out of bounds more often. I've been saying that for like 3 years. He even need to slide and go out of bounds.
I think that mentality came from his college, because I went and watched a lot of his college tape, and he always loved running with the ball, man. He was explosive, and she's strong, that stiff arm he has, and he's one of those guys. He'll get you that first down when you need it. But I'd rather you try and get that first down on 4th down, on 3rd and 2, take that chance. But don't take that chance on 1st down. Just slide.
He broke his leg on 1st down. I'm pretty sure it's 1st and 10. He ran for the extra yard. I mean, you didn't need that, and he understands that now. Hearing what he's saying, he understands that if it's 1st down and 10 and he gets 7 yards, he's not going to fight for the 8th yard. But he did say, and we're going to hold our breaths when it happens. If it's for the playoffs, if it's in the playoffs, if it's in a major game, at the end of a game, it could be week 3 against the freaking Eagles. I don't know, but if Dak Prescott sees that goal line, and it's the game's in the balance, he's going to go for it. Just know that. So we're all going to, he might take it easy here and there, but it's for the game. When it's for a big play, he don't give a damn about his ankle. He's going to go for it. And again, I can't blame him for that. Just be smarter on the non-necessary ones, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Slide and go out of bounds. Don't take the hit.
Big shout out to Tyrone Church, who's in the building, man.
Yes.
He said the crazy thing about Cooper is that he's still raising.
Yeah, he's still getting better. He's still improving.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What I like about him? He's humble. He's not one of those flashy guys. When he gets a touchdown, you don't see him doing crazy stuff. Goes up to the ref. People
don't like him for that because they say he's not a dog and all this stuff. He is a dog. He is a dog. He's just it's up here. And that's the thing. He's a chess player. He's like you said, he's humble. And one thing you got to remember about him, man, when he went out that game against Philly, it wasn't like he chose to go out the game. People yell at him for that shit. I don't understand that. He was pulled out of the game. What is he supposed to do? What is he? Is he supposed to fight the coach on the sideline? Is he supposed to yell at him and act crazy like a fool? And one last thing, it always matters.
Yeah.
He was a game away. That was the second to last game before he's a free agent. You think he's going to want to act crazy and then now he's going to lose $2 million because he had a hissy fit on the sideline and he still didn't get in the game? Man, people got to get off of that stuff. They got to understand that he was pulled out of that game. That's a coaching mistake, not an Amari Cooper mistake. Let's get real.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with my man Soul Flow. He is the best route runner.
People say Diggs is in there too, but I mean, I've seen Cooper dominate on the route runnings. I mean, he's top guy there. So I agree with Jonathan. Soul Flow Cowboys.
Yeah, I remember that game with Washington, and I'll never forget that game. Split 2 defenders. Upfield, yeah, man.
He cut up the Reds. He cut up Washington. He cut up Philly. He cut up he cut everybody.
Yeah. And I remember ordering my jersey that game.
When you saw that,
I was like, nope.
Was that Thanksgiving? at Thanksgiving. Yeah,
it was,
I
I
remember
believe
that
it
he
was.
tore him up.
Yeah, very, very good explosive game. So we touched on Dak a little bit, and I want to continue touching on Dak just and get your vision. Dak is basically coming out and saying, "Hey, if the games are today, I'm ready to play." He's optimistic about his health and where he's gonna be. Do you think that Dak is 100% healthy? And do you think that I don't? I think that first he'll get that first initial hit out the way. I think that has to come into play where he's gonna have to look down at his ankle and say, "Okay, I'm good," and then the jitters will be gone. Do you agree
Yeah,
with me on
I,
that?
I agree with you 100% on the jitters, getting that first hit. Yeah, I mean, he's every human has to go through that, right? So we got to see him take the hit, not just throw, not just running. First, it was running and throwing, and that's good that he's doing that. But here's the thing: I think you have to look at when it comes to Dak Prescott, whether he can play next week or not. I wouldn't throw him in the game, and that's only because to guard against any injury or any kind of misstep. But I know what he's saying. He feels like he can go in the game and play and be effective, and that's mentally a great sign. I agree with you, though. He's got to take those first hits mentally to get over that hump. Now, physically, the man is a month and a half in front of progress. He's progressed a month and a half in front of where he's supposed to be right now. He's great. He's doing great. I mean, the video I just put out again. It was on Amari Cooper's Instagram, but you can see Dak. He's working with the medicine ball, working his core, and he's doing the thing better than La'el Collins, who again I know he's a bigger guy. My point is that Dak's no issues with the ankle, and he's walking around on it. We've seen many videos and many things. He's running around and throwing the ball. It's great to see the progression. He should be at this point maybe next month. That's where he should be. In June, He should be doing this stuff. He's way ahead of schedule. I'm very happy with that. But being ready next week, that's just the feeling. I don't think he'd be ready for that. And again, I went over this last night on MCF, but Mike McCarthy spoke about his progression, Dak's progression. He's there every day at the facility, rehabbing and training and all that stuff. And
that's Dak, though. And you know that, and I know that's Dak. He's always been first one in, last one out.
Even during the whole contract stuff, he was still there. He was still there during the contract issues and everything. He was going there working out. Now, and I guess working out, going for the rehab stuff because the team, everyone's like, well, we don't know how good. Trust me, if anybody knows how good Dak was doing with the surgery, it's the Cowboy team. They're doctors. They're watching. They're still under contract till the end, to the middle of March. So, he has to be checked by our Cowboy coaches. So we knew what was going on. It wasn't when they signed him for that money. They know that he's okay with his ankle, and so everything seems okay. Just that I think that when I think in training camp when he gets those hits. He's going to get hit sometimes. I know they're going to take it easier in OTAs. I know Dak said he's going to probably just walk around the OTAs, but McCarthy, a couple days ago, said that he expects Dak Prescott to possibly actually be active in the OTAs. I'm assuming the mandatory one. So, again, we don't know what's going to be the real way with this. I mean, Dak's ready to play next week, and McCarthy's ready to put him in to a full workout of OTA practice, which he has to run around, throw the ball, the whole thing, stress him all the way.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I mean, it sounds like it could go that way, or they're just hyping us up, blowing smoke up our asses. In reality, I think that I'm just expecting him in training camp, right, and seeing him go 100% from there. That's just I don't want to raise my thought expectations, because he even said it. I mean, he can play, he can. McCarthy said he could put on the field at OTAs, but why do you have to do that? Or can you just wait to training camp and get him there and make sure he's 100% healed up? He's ahead of schedule himself, but the healing still has to heal. So I don't know. I just say don't throw him out there too early if you don't have to.
Yeah, if we don't have to, don't. I understand you want to test them out, test the waters, but let's test the waters in the shallow end and not in the deep end.
Exactly. I agree. Agree. Someone asked me yesterday, are we gonna have him take a snap against the Steelers in the preseason game? I'm like, hell no. Are you kidding me? He's not going to take a snap. He's going to be in his warm-ups and stuff. He's not going to be. Yeah, come on. His first snap will be probably week 3 of the preseason, and it probably be very minimal even with that. But again, I'm assuming by then they're going to want to give him at least a drive, right? They're going to want to give him a quarter. And there's only 3 other preseason games. We have 4 total this year. So whatever is the dress rehearsal game, which usually a week before the last one, that's the game he'll get a fuller, plate, so to speak. So I think that I'm looking forward to seeing him there, but I'm looking forward to week 1 and wherever it is. And I'm hearing the Bucks. I hope we're going to go to that game. The wife and I. We're
Oh
going.
yeah.
If it's week one, it's week one. But I'll be ready.
You know what? We talked about that yesterday. I said rumor is week one, Tampa Bay, Super Bowl champs. Do you think that the
Brady.
Cowboys could come out and get a W week one against the Bucs?
Yes, I discussed this yesterday. Even though people are like, I'm going to just give you. I think Tyrone Church might have said this. Said but the Bucs defense is good, right? Definitely solid defense. But I think they had ups and downs last year. I know they played together now for a full year. Both offense and defense are fully back for the Bucs, like the same freaking team. So they're
everybody resigned.
Yeah. So they got cohesiveness for sure. That's for sure. But the Cowboys. Let's look at what the Cowboys can do. If people look at the Bucs and get scared, I don't. I think that when I look at our offense, all right, we can definitely. On the best defenses out there, it's still not an excuse for the Cowboys to not be able to put up points.
Yeah,
give me the toughest defense last year, and we still should put 24 plus points on there, in my opinion, because we have a damn good offense too. You just can't they have a good defense. Well, then we suck. No, we have a good offense, a damn good one. If not a top 5, a top 3 offense, and maybe better. We'll see. But my point is, I believe we have on paper, without injuries, we have one of the best offenses out there now. Can Kellen Moore, improve his run call? Can he improve his red zone?
Red zone. Thank you.
His running plays, his red zone. Can he improve that stuff? That's really what's going to separate us to get into the elite of offenses and to be consistently elite. But my thing is I think that we have that chance, right? I think against the Bucs, the problem is it's week one, right? So our offense should know each other, even though they were banged up. Our offense should know what's going on. The defense is where the issue would lie with me playing the Bucs. Now Brady's he's a master, right? He's gonna pick us apart, whatever it may be.
That's the problem.
But we also, again, and our defense is going to be new. So a lot of new guys, young guys. It's going to be a new scheme. Yeah, new scheme, new rookie coach. Not rookie coach, but new coach for the Cowboys on defense, Dan Quinn, which I love, by the way. I think, though, that's also it's going to hurt us, no doubt. But I think it plays a role in helping us, too, because they don't know really what to expect. So if Micah Parsons gets some plays, and they don't know really what to expect. They don't really have NFL film on Micah Parsons, so let's see how that might be disruptive. That might be a wild card. Nobody really puts in there. Also, the Dan Quinn scheme. Also, Randy Gregory. These guys are like overlooked, but he's going to play the Leo Rush role as a defensive edge rusher for Dan Quinn's defense. I'm telling you, that's going to be exactly made for Randy Gregory. And I think that people got to watch all the other guys. I'm cool with that. But watch for Randy Gregory's and and that's what Tom Brady's going to have to go back there and not really know what to expect yet. With this new Cowboy defense, he can probably pick them apart. But I think we'll hang in the game because our defense is kind of still unknown. It's good and bad, but also the offense is high-powered, and that's known. So that's no excuse. And I don't think the Bucs have like the freaking the best defense out there. I just don't. I mean, they had up and down, and they played some fortuitous games in the playoffs, and they were solid. Their defense is solid. But I don't think that their defense is like unstoppable. I mean, I think that the Chiefs didn't have their offensive line.
I think our offense is going to be dangerous this year. I think honestly, I mean, we got like some really, really good receivers. Zeke looks like an animal right now on tape.
Yep.
And a lot of people are saying, yeah, but he always does. And I said, no, there's just something about what I'm seeing from him this year. He seems hungry. He seems slimmer. He seems, like he wasn't fat last year. Everybody, and BJ touched on this last year. He said for a guy who's fat, who when he lifts up his shirt, you can still see his six pack, and he's got feed me. If that's fat, he's like, I want to be fat. Zeke still looked good last year. He still got 1,000 yards last year. So, and I think the excitement of this team, that coming back, the receiver core that we have. Our offensive line looks like they're going to be please, God, let them be healthy. We have a lot that's meshing well together this year that I think Zeke has no choice but to step up this year because also Pollard is right there behind him. Man.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you.
Pollard is looking good as well. You know what I mean? So Pollard had close to like 800 yards last year.
Yeah. I mean, he was again, you look at his receiving yards as well. I mean, he's able to, I think you got to input more Tony Pollard into the offense. Jordan Lewis was fat last year. Tyrone Church. Well, he might be playing the backup free safety role, but the thing is, I think that I agree with that as well, Tyrone.
Oh yeah. Me too, 100%.
That we're going to be better than last year, and so even game one, even if we're not all, really, I think we're going to get better as the season goes on defense. But I just think that game one is going to be our weakest game, but also the most unknown for the opposing offense as well, right? So they don't know how we're going to use some of our guys. They're just not going to know it. There's no film on it, so that's an advantage as well. So I think I want Tom Brady and the Buccaneers week one. Let's go. I don't want to do it because for my schedule it would be horrible, but for the Cowboys, I would love it because I think we can win it and start off the year with a real good, burst. That would be a good burst, a good confidence booster for this team. I think it'd be much needed. And when you talk about the offense, 100% agreement. The offensive line is where everything is at. People think it's about the other guys. Even Dak can't survive when the offensive line is broken. So
the offensive line needs to be 100% healthy because we got to protect our $160 million investment.
And then the running back, that's also a big investment. And the receivers that we're investing in, and either through draft pick, the Pollard, or CeeDee Lamb, these guys are draft pick investments as well. Gallup could be looked upon as a comp pick investment. However you want to look at it, there's a million freaking investments on this team, and the offensive line is the main source of making it all work. It's the grease that keeps the gears going. And to me, that was the biggest issue last year for Zeke. His fumbles, that's on Zeke, but the offensive line not working was really a hindrance for everybody down the line. And I think that Dak Prescott, with the offensive line, let's take a look at it for a second, because you got badass in the middle. I think he's going to continue to get better. Connor Williams had his best year last year, and every year he is getting better. And Zach Martin, the king, right? And then you got the edges, the tackles, which is, of course, La'el Collins. So he's a little chunky there, but he's like last year, but he definitely is starting to get into workout mode. That's why I felt like I had to post that video, because I'm not watching I'm not talking about Amari Cooper or Dak, even though it's nice to see him working his ankles without any issues. It's about La'el Collins. He's got to fucking stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay in this game. He's got to stay ready to go, because if not, that was one of the major detriments last year. Of course, Tyron Smith, he got his surgery. Hopefully he's good to go now. If we have those guys healthy all year, we're going to be a top 3 offense guaranteed. I don't see any way we can not be a top 3 offense. We'd be disappointing if we were not a top 3 offense. And I like the Tyrone Church comment. I think the Cowboys are trying to also get a comp pick from Connor Williams. So they're going to put him in there, start him, and play him out this year. McGovern is the all-purpose backup. And that's the other thing I want to talk about. What about depth? McGovern, he started some games. He played well last year. We all love him. He's like the guy taking over for Connor Williams when he's gone next year. What about, Badass is a rookie, but he's going to be better. Zach Martin, the king. And I talked about the tackles. What about the backup tackles? Okay, because Connor McGovern can play center, can play guard. He's more of a guard, but he can play center. And you got that rookie can play guard and center as well if he stays on the team. But the tackles, that's the biggest issue, right? So Cowboys overloaded.
Are you talking about Josh Ball?
No, I'm talking about Farniok.
Oh, Farniok, yeah.
7th rounder.
Farniok.
Yeah. And so he's the guy that's like a guard center as well. But it's really all about McGovern. He's the backup for those 3 spots, more or less. And again, some of these tackles can play guard as well. And what I'm saying is Ty and Secchi. He, to me, is a very good pickup. I know people are like, whatever, who cares? He's a superstar as a backup. Like, he's not a starter, but he's probably the best backup tackle in the NFL. He plays swing tackle. Again, he's known for being a backup tackle and a damn good one. So, listen, for 3 games, he can. I don't have any concern with him there as a swing tackle. You add in there Brandon Knight. I have trust in him. Brandon Knight played a lot of starts in 2 years. He's also can play guard as well. Actually, I think that's his natural position, is guard. So Brandon Knight has huge value. I'm sorry?
6'4", 314 pounds.
Brandon Knight? Brandon Knight is a guy that can play guard and tackle, so he's going to make this team. Don't get fooled about that. But then Josh Ball, and fuck him because he's a piece of shit human, but as far as his ability to be a tackle, the guy is going to be also a swing. Another option for us is a backup swing tackle. So you got Ty and Secchi, Brandon Knight, and the rookie Josh Ball. Terrence Steele's practice squad or just cut, whatever. He has 10 starts to his name. But Terrence Steele gets replaced by Josh Ball, and Seki is that extra kind of reassurance at tackle, along with Brandon Knight. He can do it too, but he can play guard as well. So you see, I feel so much more comfortable with our. There's no way we're going to get injured like we did last year. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
With our offensive line, there's no way it can happen again.
Yeah. We can't. We can't afford to.
But a hitch at center or at guard, you got Connor McGovern for a game or two. If a hitch at tackle, you got Nseki. You got Brandon Knight. You got Josh Ball later on if you need to, right? I'm just saying we have so many options in the sense of covering our asses. Even Brandon Knight at guard sometimes if needed. We have so many, we have so many abilities here. I think that we are good on our offensive line to not to weather a whole year of injuries, but to weather an injury here, an injury there, and then they come back. We're good. We're good. I think we're good. Yeah. That keeps the offense going. That's the key.
Listen, I appreciate you coming on. I know you said you would have like a max an hour. We're already hitting that mark, but I just want to ask you.
I'll go a little over if you need to, brother. It's all right.
A few questions. Secondary. Our secondary is always something we worried about last year. We're worried. I'm worried about it going into this year. Don't get me wrong. We picked up some good players. I think Diggs is going to have a breakout year this year. I'm still not sold on our secondary. And I've been saying it, and I even saw a tweet about it today, and I'm like, can we please go get him? What do you think about bringing in Richard Sherman?
I'm actually going to discuss that tonight on my Cowboys Family on our channel.
So give us a little taste of how it's going to be.
Yeah, listen. I think that I'm going to say it this way: if you didn't have to put money into it, it could be and you have to put money into it or Jerry Jones into it. Then I'd say I'd agree with you. But I'm being real here, man. I'd be very surprised if the Cowboys got Richard Sherman. And again, the talk is now. I'll discuss it tonight on my channel. That there's some talk that there's some reaching out to each other. That was today.
Yeah, that was today.
But I think that's more just the usual people putting the Cowboys in the news, right, and putting the hyping it up. Because I believe that Richard. Listen, here's some things you got to remember about Richard Sherman. He's going to be costly for the Cowboys, and even though it's already past a certain date here for comp picks, I think that definitely becomes more realistic because now Cowboys don't have to lose a compensatory pick if they pick up a free agent at this point in time. So Sherman would have taken that away from the Cowboys. Now that's one less excuse, but the money is going to still be around the same. And I'm thinking $6 to $8 million is going to be what he's going to be asking for. And I'm trying to give him I'm hearing $9 million really, but at this point, maybe it went down a little bit.
Well,
Richard Sherman. I love the veteran ability. That's the one thing I love about it. He knows Dan Quinn's system. The good stuff is that I don't think he's the player he was anymore. He was for sure. He's not that anymore. Even 2 years ago, I think he's way past that. But he'll give some veteran leadership, some guidance with the Dan Quinn system. The big thing, though, I think people forget about is, and that's why I mentioned that's the money part, the Jerry Jones part. I talked about his money cost. I talked about the abilities decreasing for Sherman. I talked about the good and bad, but Jerry Jones and Richard Sherman have a feud. They had a feud for years. It goes back to the kneeling in 2016, 2017 when they were kneeling. And Jones made some comments about the way it's going to be. We're going to do it this way, whatever it was. And Sherman went out and publicly went at Jerry Jones and just basically said, I'll never play for your team, ever, ever. And now, again, unless they go back on those statements, both sides, because Jerry Jones wasn't happy, and they go back on that, then you can see something happen, I guess, if they don't mind the money and his decreasing abilities, and they'll take the veteran leadership and the Dan Quinn system knowledge, that kind of stuff. If that's what you got to weigh in this thing, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be against it, but I just don't see it happening.
I just think that he'd be a good 1 year. 1 year, let him come in, be a mentor to these rookies. I'm not saying have him out there on every single play because I don't think he'd be able to.
Yeah. See, I agree with you at that point. I agree with everything you're saying. I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing. I would love to have a guy that can take the background role, the backup job there, the veteran that can, come in there and provide leadership. But then you got to pay maybe $9 million for the 1 year. Then you have to also understand that he has to overlook the Jerry Jones issues that he has with him. Will he do that? There's other places that probably pay him something similar to that. I don't think the Cowboys going to pay him $9 million. The Cowboys going to lowball him and want to, him to swallow his pride. I don't think that's going to be a reality for the Cowboys. But I agree with you. if we don't push this, if we push to stardom, I do not want him on the team. He's taking snaps away from guys. But if he is a guy that's going to take the background, a backup role, and then I'm 100% with you, minus the money and getting over the pride stuff there. So the argument.
I don't think he'll get what he's asking for. I mean, it's not like teams are rushing, picking up the phone and saying, we want Richard Sherman right now, right? Exactly. So I think he's got to be smart and be like, okay, you know what? I don't have much playing time. Let me take what I can get. And hopefully, he comes. Listen, I'm gonna.
It makes sense. It makes sense because Dan Quinn would be a great matchup for him. That's like his dad again. He's like, hey, I remember how to play for you perfectly, right? So he's going to bring out his best. I agree 100% with you on that.
Yeah. So Tyron Church says, I'd rather sign Kurian Cooley or
Brian Poole.
Corner. Yeah, Brian Poole or free safety Malik Hooker.
Malik Hooker went to the Dolphins and is being interviewed there. I think he's going this week. I think he was there, but I don't know if he signed, and I don't know if the Cowboys liked him enough to sign him as a free safety. I think that Jordan Lewis, and you talk about our secondary, Jordan Lewis might be a guy that's going to be maybe our starting nickel corner. But if you have Keanu Neal out there with two other linebackers, that's Keanu Neal's kind of the nickel package. So Jordan Lewis might be, he'll be nickel sometimes, but he might be backup free safety. And I was looking at training camp, right, coming up here in the next 2 months. Training camp comes up. I don't think DeMonte Casey is going to be ready at free safety. And the reason I say that is because that kind of injury, the Achilles tear, it takes about 10 months. He got that in October. So he's cutting it real close to training camp. I think he'll start off possibly, he might not, as in the PUP list, physically unable to perform list. So an extra spot can be created that way for the Cowboys to bring an extra guy for a week until he's ready to get on the field. But who plays free safety that week? And I think that's a great question. We went over that on our channel a couple days ago, and I really went through our options: Reggie Robinson and some of the rookie guys and Stephen Parker, Darian Thompson. Those guys are still on the team at safety, free safety. But I'm convinced that I think Jordan Lewis will be the guy that gets a lot of reps there to start it off. And I think he's going to earn himself a spot on this team through being a backup free safety. Free safety. It's very important because not strong. He played strong safety last year, like 126 snaps, but he didn't play any free safety. No free safety. So I think he's a guy that's going to get checked out at that spot, and we'll see how that goes. But I think that's a concerning spot. That's why Malik Hooker wouldn't be a bad pickup in that mindset, because the other names I mentioned, we don't have one true free safety on this team. And I say that DeMonte Casey came out of college as a cornerback. And the other guys I just mentioned, they're all corners in one way or the other, or strong safeties, like Darian Thompson, like Stephen Parker. Those guys are strong safeties. And you look at the rookies, they're all kind of strong safeties too. I mean, the cornerback from that we picked up in the 6th round and we're going to move to free safety, he's still a cornerback first, right? So we don't have any true free safeties on this team, like originally from college. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely nuts. Definitely nuts. So before I let you go, I want to ask you one last thing. Who do you going into the season now? Like, if you were to sit back and look at our roster and not even see us play or training camp, what's our record?
That's always a good one. This is hard. It's hard to tell, but I mean, I would say with 17 games, there's no way we should be under 10 wins. I mean, that's just at the very worst. Like 10 and 7 is the worst. But I think that with the worst. But I think with our defense, if it not even at the beginning, right? I see our defense having some rough patches the first month and the first 6 games, right? By the way, that guy right there, Bobby McCain, he's more of a strong safety.
Yeah, I brought him up yesterday, and I said I'd like to see him though.
But strong safety though. He's not a free safety. It's still no true free safeties on this team. I mean, DeMonte Casey is the closest thing because he played free safety for 4 years in the NFL. But coming out of college, no. I think Joseph is wrong on that. I think we're 10 and 7 at the worst. But last year I thought we were 11 wins. I mean, I think 11-12 is realistic with 17 games. Tyrone Church said 12-5. I could definitely see us going there.
I see that. That's what I was saying. Right now,
10, 11, 12 wins. I can see that at the that is the expectation in that range for me. 11 wins, I guess. That's the average.
We'll know tomorrow looking at the schedule release date. I know you're going to I'm going to watch you tomorrow night because I would definitely want to hear after you see the schedule come out what your vision is going to be and what you think, how many teams we're going to win against and how many L's we're going to get this year. I think a lot of teams made a lot of big moves this year. I'm not really worried about our division, to be honest with you. Washington's got Fitzpatrick. He's a hit and miss.
He'll start off nice, and then he'll after 4 games, he'll be like disappearing.
Exactly. I'm not worried about the Giants with Mr. the QB that can't even run and fumble his own feet and all that. I'm worried about Barkley coming back. I think that'll be a good addition, but I don't think he'll be 100%. I don't think he'll be the same either. I'm not really worried about the Giants. And the Eagles right now, they're all over the place. They're like walking around with chickens with a head right now. That organization is just really crazily messed up right now. So I'm not worried about them. I think they're in a rebuilding mode. So I think the Dallas Cowboys will definitely win the NFC East this year.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Well, I mean, Washington's defense is definitely solid. Top defense, I think, underrated as well. But I think that
what is this? Where's this guy coming from?
No, Dak Prescott is actually a trooper and gets the wins. And I see the K. Lowe said Earl Thomas still out there. Jerry needs. Now, listen, here's the thing about Earl Thomas. Not one team is calling for him. Not one.
Not one.
And Earl Thomas is a true free safety. He's a true free safety. I agree, but not one team is calling for him. There's something else going on with him, and the Cowboys are not part of that. The Cowboys don't want to be involved with Earl Thomas. And again, good matchup, pair him back up with Dan Quinn, right? But I agree. That's the first name that came to my mind. But then I'm like, but nobody in the NFL is even looking his way. There's a reason for that, and I don't know what it is. But yeah, if he was able to play, he'd be on the team already. Is my thought. Maybe even the Cowboys, but something's going on that he's not on this team. But as far as the records go, man, I think that, or not the record, I guess that I looked at the quarterback that we're playing in every week, and I actually went through it on my Cowboys family the other night, and I went through all the quarterbacks, our opponents, and again, whether the teams are good or not, there's not really many good quarterbacks that we're really going to face. I mean, you go through that list, there's some, all right, Kyler Murray and guy here and there, but you got Denver. Who's even their quarterback? Will it be Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. But you go through the list of the teams we're playing and the quarterbacks that we're going up against. Our defense should not be overwhelmed every week after week after week against some fucking top quarterback. That stuff should not be happening. I do think that because of that, our defense will be able to even have that little learning curve to be even shortened, and maybe even see, maybe it won't be so exposed as soon, let's say, as we would have been if we didn't have that advantage. Let's see here, Tyron Trisha playoff Seahawks. I mean, the Cowboys. To me, I'm looking for the run in the playoffs. If the Cowboys, if the Cowboys can be we don't have to be a top 10 defense. That's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
But if we're over 20, and the offense plays top 10, I'm sorry, if the offense plays top 5 or top 3, that defense can go from 20 to even higher than that. If we can be at least average, somewhere around 16, a little below even, I don't care. And our offense is top 3, we're gonna make a great playoff run this year for the Super Bowl. Well, we should at least. We should.
We're Super Bowl contenders, as everybody is definitely. The media's already putting us out there.
If we can put those numbers up through the season, right? And we get into the playoffs with that kind of production, with the 16th ranked defense, we get those turnovers, get a little more turnovers, get more pressure with the front. You talk about the defensive backfield. It's got to be that front 7. Yeah. That's why I think you see Micah Parsons. That's why you see Osa. You want to get guys in there that can get in there and be disruptive, because you need that to help the back end, which is your concern, and it's a damn valid concern too. Okay. What was that?
Answering your question. Perfect, man. MCF, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. Please let everybody know where to find you one last time. And guys, I'm definitely going to check out your show tonight, because I want to hear your take on a few things definitely tonight, and I will definitely be jumping in that chat, man.
Yeah, I'll be discussing that Richard Sherman thing a little bit tonight. We usually try to do the solid stuff first and kind of talk the discussion stuff towards the end, but we'll definitely be discussing everything tonight on my Cowboys family. Yes, on YouTube. That's where we broadcast from. That's the only spot we broadcast from. And we do have a Twitter page at My Cowboys Family. You can follow us there. We post in there as well. We have a Discord, which we're it's in construction right now, but Discord channel, which we also post in there and talk with the fans. But also, the fans are talking about the Cowboys and really good stuff in there as well. So you just join up with the family, My Cowboys Family on YouTube. Yes, and don't forget to hit the like here for this stream right now. For it's your boy Sid here. I'm saying Dallas Cowboys for life. I'm gonna definitely give you when I see you tonight. who instantly remind me, like, hey, shout you out and keep doing what you're doing, brother, because you're building up your fan base, you're building up your show, and it's great stuff to have these discussions, with other YouTubers out there. Cowboy YouTubers are knowledgeable about that star.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I said, thank you so much for coming on the show. Guys, definitely go sub up to his channel. His information, again, is in the information box below, the description and all that. Definitely go sub up to his stuff. I put his Twitter information, his channel. Definitely hit my subscription button as well. Dallas Cowboys for life. My Twitter information is also, and my Instagram is in my information box below. Just go check it out, man. Hit that subscription. Definitely check these guys out. Thanks for tuning in, man. My MCF, thanks for coming on the show, and we're definitely gonna have this again when the season starts to see where we're at. And I want to thank everybody in the chat who tuned in. Tyrone Church, Joseph, who is definitely a Cowboy hater for some odd reason, but it's all good. It's either you're a Cowboy lover or you're a Cowboy hater. Boys for life, definitely thanks for tuning in. My boy K-Lo, 1980, everybody who took time to be in the chat, I appreciate you guys all. Be sure to tune in with me on Thursday night. There's another stream coming up that I will be doing. Definitely be sure to tune in. Stay safe. Awesome. Take care of your loved ones. It's your boy Sid. Guess what, man? I'm out.